Welcome to the Rick and Morgan podcast, presented by Lemon Sports Network. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Ricky Lemon.
Welcome to the pod. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How was your Christmas? We didn't talk about that last week.
Dude,
Christmas season.
Christmas is always lit.
It's always huge. It's always ginormous. The amount of presents that I had to purchase this year as a newly married man was crazy.
That's nuts. You know what's my favorite part about
two families, and it's like, gotta buy
true.
presents for every. The interesting part is that you kind of luck out the year you get married is like you can get away with giving away a picture of yourself to everyone.
True. Merry Christmas. Here's me.
Here's me and my wife.
You know what's my favorite part about Christmas?
Yeah.
It's not giving gifts.
It's not getting gifts.
It's not getting gifts. It's doing absolutely nothing on
for
Christmas
a whole
Day.
Friggin' week.
Well, for you maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It is true.
Christmas Day,
it's like Thanksgiving twice.
Yeah, a little bit.
But no football, so that's kind of devastating.
Well, we had football Christmas Eve, but
NFL screwed.
Did you watch the game?
No,
neither did I. Didn't even bother.
Garbage. Yeah, no fan. Christmas is absolutely freaking fantastic. What is your favorite Christmas candy? If you had to choose one,
Christmas candy. Wow, that's tough. Like, is it just
there's like the main groups that everyone gets. It's like
M&Ms.
Sour Patch, M&Ms, and Reese's.
Yeah,
you get Twix.
I get
Twix.
Peanut.
What is that?
Twix. I don't get Twix.
That's strange. It was a strange one. It was in one of those candy canes too. I was like, what the frick?
I get I usually peanut M&Ms is like my go-to.
Yeah, that's true. I ate half a. This was a 10-serving bag. I ate 3/4 of it today. Freaking 3/4 of it. I think I gained 20 pounds just on food this week.
Dude, I have 2 giant bags of M&Ms, or peanut M&Ms, and one of them is 95% gone.
Peanut M&Ms are like the best. It's like you have peanut M&Ms and you have regular M&Ms, and it's like, okay, regular M&Ms are good, but you throw the peanuts inside there we go. That
takes it to another level.
That like spices it up. That like spices it right up.
Why are we talking about peanut M&Ms?
Let's get to in the news. So Tom Brady, he came out, I think it was yesterday or today, can't remember, but he told, according to Mike Reese, he told Westwood One Sports, I think that's the town he grew up in LA, but that might be wrong. He told Westwood One Sports that he absolutely believes that he will play in 2019. He said, quote, "I know I've talked about it for a long time. I have goals to play not only next year, but beyond that. I'm trying to do as best as I can." Unquote. Tom Brady expected to make a return in 2019. That's rather interesting.
I mean, obviously not surprising.
Yeah,
he's gonna play next year,
100.
Unless,
Bill's probably coaching.
Maybe if they win the Super Bowl and right off in the sunset or whatever, that could happen. But if in all likelihood he's going to play next year, and in all likelihood he's probably going to be a little worse than he was this year,
which is not good.
That is not good.
I don't think it'll be that much worse, though.
No, I don't think so either. But he's not like, what is he right now? Like a top 12 quarterback statistically, top 15, like.
I'm curious to find out, because I know Brady doesn't really care about the whole. Because there's this argument among New England fans, not among normal media outlets, but media members in New England always talk about Bill didn't have Brady, or if Brady didn't have Bill, would they be the same? All that crap. Who's better? And the answer to that question, the answer to that question would be if Tom Brady left, or Bill Belichick left, or one of them retired, and you get to see what they really look like in terms of
that's kind of flawed, though, because
it is
at this point,
it's a flawed
because thing. If, let's say, Belichick goes and we're like, okay, Brady, let's see what you got. He's going to be in his early 40s. Like, you really think he's...
That's not fair.
And he's gonna stink, and people are going to be like, oh, you can't do it without Bill. Like,
so this is the big thing for Tom Brady, though, is that he really doesn't care about that argument. He's just like, I want to win Super Bowls. So if he stays, he stays. But the big thing for Bill is that Bill's mind, as long as it works, is he can still coach. Like, he doesn't get bad at coaching football. Like, that doesn't happen. You don't just overnight decide you don't know how to coach football. Like, so I think if there's anybody in this whole relationship that wants to prove something wrong, it'd probably be Bill Belichick going, I want to do my own thing on my own team. The longer Brady stays, the longer he has to coach, though, to prove it. So the question is, who's going to outlast the other?
The battle of old men.
Because I know Tom Brady would absolutely love to have McDaniels as head coach. He would love it. Guerrero would be like the assistant
offensive coordinator.
Yeah, offensive coordinator.
He's sitting there with like
Guerrero,
instead of a play sheet,
rubbing
it's like
Tom Brady as their game planning. You see, Tom Brady's on a bench in the planning room. It's like rubbing his leg.
You know how they cut to like the sidelines?
Yeah.
And guys are like drinking Gatorade and sitting down and stuff. It cuts to the sideline. Brady's like 95% naked. Like in mid game,
he's not
and
even
Guerrero is just again his hands all up in there. You like that, Tommy boy?
It's true. I honestly don't know who's going to last longer, but I do think if Brady continues to play, Bill will be here. It also lends to the situation of like Josh McDaniels came back this year. He screwed the Colts up big time. Was like, hey, screw you guys. Left. Came back to New England to be the offensive coordinator because some meeting with Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and Robert Kraft. So there's only so many years. If you really want this guy to be your head coach, there's only so many years that you can do this.
Yeah.
There had to be and I don't want to go into this, but there had to be like a verbal agreement between
wink, nudge, nudge.
Wink, nudge, nudge. Between all four of them that, like, Tom can stay. He's not sitting there going, okay, I'm going to leave if this happens. And no, he's going to play football as long as he is. But do you think there's any real chance that Bill Belichick could retire this year?
I don't think he's gonna, but I would say the odds of him retiring are higher than Tom's.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to either, especially if this is not how any of them want to go out if they lose in the postseason this year in an embarrassing fashion, probably to San Diego or Los Angeles.
Put one in the jar.
Put one in the freaking jar.
There's a lot of money in that jar.
Yeah, at this point, we should honestly just actually get one because I need to learn how to say Los Angeles.
You know, this point,
when the Raiders move to Las Vegas, I'm going to be a disaster.
We can just, with the money that you've put in this jar, we can move Los Angeles back to San Diego. We can buy the team.
Just put it back so that I don't screw this up anymore. Let's move on. Philip Lindsay is done for the year with a wrist injury. Kind of unfortunate. I think it's just because Denver doesn't have any shot at
out
anything.
For the year also means out this week. So
yeah, that's true. So Lindsay will not be playing this week or the rest of the season. It doesn't really matter that much. It's not like it's a big injury. Denver just doesn't have a chance of making the playoffs, so that's it.
Royce this week.
Yeah, dude, I want to see Rolls Royce. I hope he goes out, gets like friggin' 2 touchdowns and 250 yards, and then the Denver Broncos are like, frick, what do we miss out on because we started Lindsay all year?
Lindsay's actually been good, though.
He's been good, but I really like Royce
really
Freeman.
good.
Freeman is my boy.
I know.
You know that?
I do know that.
I'm going to roll with Royce even if he sucks in his career. Royce Freeman will be my guy. He'll be 29 years old running for no one, and I'd still root for him.
Doesn't have an NFL team at the age of like 26. If you guys don't sign Royce Freeman,
you need to pick up Royce Freeman off the waiver wire in fantasy.
The big time pickup this offseason. Hasn't played in 4 years.
Royce Freeman. Can't wait to see you play this week. Taylor Heinicke. I was going to say Tyler. Taylor Heinicke is out for the year as well. I don't know how severe his injury is or what it is, but for the Carolina Panthers to go through Cam Newton and now Taylor Heinicke, it's kind of unfortunate. And there was a lot of talk surrounding this guy, Heinicke. I think I'm saying his name right. It's interesting because he apparently was like talking about this as his big breakout game. Mm-hmm. Like this was going to be it. Like he was going to be able to sign a contract with a team and do all this stuff next year, and then he gets hurt. He actually didn't play too bad either, but
he was okay.
Yeah, he was okay. But I don't know why people were even thinking like, I mean, I don't know. Cam Newton's really freaking good at football, but there's just parts of Cam Newton that you're like, oh, I wish I could get rid of that. Why is that there? It's like watching Mitch Trubisky play football.
Also true.
It's like, oh, this guy's really good, and then the next play, it's yeah, that's not where you're supposed. Yeah, that's not throwing it 40 yards past the guy. Is not where you're supposed to be putting it, boy. So yeah, Taylor Heinicke. I don't know what his career holds, but he is OTS, out for the season. Monday Night Football had a record low viewership. We referenced this at the beginning of the show.
I wonder why.
Oh, because you don't know how to flex games. You put this whole rule in your stupid system where you can flex games to better time slots, and you don't flex the Steelers and the Saints or even the Chiefs and... Well, I guess they were already in prime time. Just move the Steelers and Saints over to Monday night and call it a day. We don't want to watch Denver and Oakland go at it.
What, you don't want to see Derek Carr versus Case Keenum in the battle of like 4-win, a 3-win Raider team at the time,
they have a total,
and a 6-win Bronco team.
They have a total of 9 wins together. Yeah, I don't want to watch that. So
fun.
Not only because it is known that everyone hates, and my weekly Booger McFarland take. Nobody wants to listen to the Monday Night Football crew anyways. And then you put Denver and Oakland on it. What do you expect to happen? Like you had...
It's okay. They made up for it earlier in the year when they had the Chiefs-Rams game.
Yeah, that's true. That was a good game. Everyone was forced to watch that game. I think we played it on mute.
I mean, we did for a little bit.
It was that bad. Yeah, you're like... I heard a couple of people say that they were sitting there watching these games on, like, muted their TV.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this is weird. There's no commentary. And then they turned it back on and realized why they muted it. Well, let's move on. Blake Bortles is going to start for the Jags this week. I think that the Jags are starting to realize that they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
not only do they not have a quarterback, but they don't have a receiver either.
Yeah, that's true. They probably should acquire both in the offseason. They're rumored to take I can't remember which guy it was. They're rumored to take a quarterback in this draft.
I mean, as they should, because Blake Bortles... Actually, I take that back. Blake Bortles is an amazing quarterback and is considered one of the best by his
Ryan
peers.
Finley, North Carolina.
Who? Never heard
Ryan
of him.
Finley. Yeah, never heard of him either. He'll probably blow like the rest of these chumps and Jack. You know what? Blake Bortles is like the picture of mediocrity. He's not freaking awful, but he's nowhere near, like, he's 20 on the list of quarterbacks. He's like close to bottom, but not that close. He's not as bad as some of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I gotta take Case Keenum. I take Blake Bortles over Case Keenum. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Remember last year when I was like talking up Blake Bortles? Frick me. Do you have anything else to add?
I think that's it.
All right, let's move over to Forced Opinion. We'll start off with the Colts and the Ravens. With a win from the Colts and the Ravens, the Steelers could be eliminated from the playoffs this Sunday. What went wrong for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year? And were we right at the start?
What went wrong? A few things. One,
the Steelers blow.
No. I mean,
2,
they're a good
Steelers
football team,
blow.
but it's not like they had an easy schedule. Now,
I don't pull the schedule on me. I don't even give a crap.
You sure?
Yeah, I know what the schedule looked like. I looked at it many times. Good football teams win against good football teams.
I don't know, dude.
New England Patriots seem to be able to pull it off.
They played the Chiefs, the Ravens. The Ravens again, twice. So the Ravens twice, the Chiefs, the Panthers. At the time, the Panthers were good. The Broncos in Denver, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Saints. Those are all games that you look at and are tough. And
you got to win those games, though. There's no...
I mean, they do. Especially, like, the game that really got away from them was... I know at the time, we roasted them about it, and it seems meaningless at the time because it's week 1. But the tie against the Browns, that's
huge.
a game you can't afford to lose.
Yep. At this point in the year, you look back at that game and you're like, oh, man, because you would have had it over the Colts right now.
Yep. They'd still be perfectly fine.
Yep. But they didn't.
I don't want to blame it all on the schedule, but...
You can blame it on the schedule. I'm blaming
I think
one guy.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin. I know
Of
where
course
this is
I
going.
am.
Mike Tomlin.
Talked about him many times.
I think it's more Roethlisberger, honestly. I don't think he's as good as he was. Their defense isn't great. TJ Watt's good. I think the pass rush is decent, but the pass coverage is not that good. Since James Conner's been out, everybody has a thing for Samuel, but
Roethlisberger, 4,842 yards, 60.
So statistically speaking, he's been good.
33 touchdowns, 15 interceptions.
But I don't know. There's just some plays.
I'm not putting it on Ben Roethlisberger. I'm telling you that much.
There's some plays where you look at it and you're like, bet he could have made that a few years ago.
Do you look at their offense? Do you think they're missing something?
Not when James Conner's out there. No.
Okay.
Why? Because I know
I'm not pulling the Le'Veon Bell card out. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying I do think there's something missing. Like when you watch their offense.
No, I really don't. Other than the fact I think Roethlisberger isn't as good as he once was.
I don't know. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been off this year, and you got to blame someone. And I don't think when you're putting up numbers like that for a team, and you're in some games, Roethlisberger had not carried the team to victory, but really he's had the games that he needed to have in games to win. Like it's just. To me, it's not Roethlisberger's fault that this team is losing. It's not, and I think their defense needs to play. They have a lot of talent in that secondary. They have a lot of the talent on the defensive line, and they're not using that to their advantage. Antonio Brown has had a down year. They got Juju Smith-Schuster. The offensive line is good. They got James Conner. They have a good quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger, and you're not winning football games. Why can't you make the playoffs with that? Like what is the one common denominator when you do not make the playoffs? What do you look at to kind of figure out why you were losing? You can't look at Ben Roethlisberger's statistics and look at him in the season.
You look at his statistics, yeah, he's been great, but when I feel like if you just watch the games, there is something off about him, and it's probably old age, but he hasn't been the same guy.
Yeah, he's on the older side. They need to figure something out, but. To me, I think you have all this.
The defense is not. I mean, the defense actually hasn't been bad. The pass rush is good, but their secondary is not good at all. Their linebacking core is not the best. Now, let's say theoretically, because I know you would love to fire Mike Tomlin.
Of course, I would.
Dude, he's like a top 10 coach in the league.
No, he's well. I mean, what does that mean though in the NFL? What does that mean?
That he's a top 10 coach. He's one of the better coaches in the league.
So
you fire Mike Tomlin.
Tier 1.
You better have
Tier 1. Bill Belichick.
He's in Tier 2.
Tier 2. Everyone else.
Okay, well,
I honestly believe. Here's the thing. Some coaches. I'll look at. I'll jump another sport. In the MLB, idea. Many years ago. The Boston Red Sox fired a very good manager in Terry Francona. Very good manager. Mm-hmm. They had to let him go. The clubhouse was drinking beer and eating chicken, doing unheard of things in the clubhouse and all of this stuff. He lost control of the locker room or the clubhouse. He lost control of most of it. And it was okay, it's time to part ways with this guy. I think Mike Tomlin is a good coach.
And it took him how many years to find finally a good replacement? 6?
No, I know. I know, but at some point you have to look.
Can you afford that if you're the Steelers? Also, has Mike Tomlin completely lost the locker room like that?
He might.
Dude, if Mike Tomlin gets fired and I'm a GM, I'm going after him fast.
Oh, yeah, I 100%. A new situation for Mike Tomlin, like he will get a job very quickly if he's fired. But yeah. I don't think he works with Pittsburgh anymore. And if there's any time, like you're sitting there and you're ownership for Pittsburgh and you're like, all right, we got to hit the reset button. Like we didn't make the playoffs this year. What are we going to do? You look at the quarterback, 36 years old. Is it time to make a change as an organization? Or do you want to roll with Mike Tomlin as your head coach and go with a new quarterback? I think that they're looking at it and going, we need to move on. Like, consider this. If the Patriots this year had all of the, like, they had the same season, they had the same similar statistical season that they have right now, yet the Patriots were in the same position as the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Bill Belichick had not a losing season, but he was losing games and they weren't going to make the playoffs. Would you look at the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick a little bit differently than you do right now? Because if you want to hold Mike Tomlin to that standard, he's not Bill Belichick, obviously.
No, yeah.
But if you want to hold him to that standard and to that light, like a top 10 coach, like I even think you could make the argument that Mike Tomlin's a top 5 coach in the NFL with the bad coaching in the NFL. But you look at that picture, if you want to hold him accountable in that level, Bill Belichick, everyone would be like, what is wrong with the New England Patriots? And then they wouldn't say, oh, Tom Brady's in decline. They probably would. But they probably say Tom Brady is in decline. But they would also look at Bill Belichick and say, listen, is this it for him too? And then you'd start looking at the organization and say, if you're Robert Kraft, you're like, obviously you love everyone, but you're like, is it time just to hit the reset button and move on and go with Josh McDaniels and all of that stuff? Obviously that didn't happen, but I'm kind of looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers saying, all right, we drafted this young quarterback. We can start over a little bit and we can just go forward as the Pittsburgh Steelers have had. Everyone talks about the New England Patriots run as a football team and all the things they've done the last 18 years and, all that honorable mention of the 10 straight AFC. The Steelers have been winning football games since the 80s.
Even before then.
Yeah. They've been winning for so long. They always win. Every year they're somehow in the postseason. And it's interesting to see that, but at some point the Steelers are going to have a couple of bad years in order to move forward.
I'm okay with getting rid of Mike Tomlin, but you better have a good plan. If you're going in that direction, you better have a
my hands are off.
A really good plan.
Fire Mike Tomlin, but if you don't have a good plan, that's not my fault. So I'll just say that.
Fair enough.
I do think Mike Tomlin should be fired. And like I said, people in Pittsburgh, even somebody who listens to the show said that they disagreed with the fact that they're from Pittsburgh and they were like, no, they should not fire Mike Tomlin. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, Mike Tomlin's not good. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
I
think he's good, but I get what you mean by going in a new direction though and starting over and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I mean, as much as I hate on Mike Tomlin, I think a new locker room and a new scene for him would be way better than the current circumstances that he has now. I think there's just a lot of I don't know. It just seems like it's time to move on for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they've had a great run with him and, Big Ben and Mike Tomlin. They've had a great run together. But at this point, to me, it's time for them just to take the step forward and move on. When you have a really good team and they're not playing well, the only person I look at is the head coach. You know what I mean? Like, many teams have had... There are teams in this league that have really talented teams that aren't producing. And if you're one of them and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you've been the class of the AFC and you don't make the playoffs next week, then yes, Mike Tomlin should be on the hot seat. He's won one championship. He is a top 10 coach, but in the end, you have to hold your people accountable, and sometimes it might be good to start fresh. Go get yourself a Sean McVay. Go get yourself a pretty face, and and try to win some football games, because you have all of the pieces to plug a young rookie quarterback in there and have him succeed. You literally have all the pieces. Don't play Josh Dobbs. Please, God, don't play Josh Dobbs. But I think Roethlisberger's got maybe 1-2 years left in him, and then he's done. But he's like the opposite of Tom Brady. He's kind of funny because Tom's like getting these what does he call it? The polymetric, I don't know, massages, all of that stuff. Like, he does all of this weird, dieting stuff. Ben Roethlisberger's at bars drinking beers, eating burgers, getting smashed
20
into
pounds
the ground,
in off-season.
broken ribs, still playing football games. Like, totally opposite ends of the spectrum. I could see Ben Roethlisberger playing into his 40s and then retiring because
crippled man.
Yeah, he'll be in a wheelchair to the podium.
Yes.
But let's move on to point number 2. Baltimore has been a sneaky surprise this year as their defense carries them to wins. After beating the Chargers this past week, do they have any chance in the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if they win that division with that defense, dude.
Yep.
And I know you hate Lamar Jackson.
I do.
But they are 5-1 with him.
It's not
now,
him, it's the defense. Sorry.
I don't
not
disagree
sorry.
with that, but you still act like he sucks, but he doesn't.
See, my feelings about Mark Ingram are much better than your feelings about more justified than your feelings about Lamar
They're also
Jackson.
stronger.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think Lamar Jackson is like.
I don't think
crazy,
he blows.
but
I just don't think everyone's like, oh my gosh, the Baltimore Ravens are 5-1 with Lamar Jackson as their starting quarterback, and then it's like, okay, well look at his numbers and you'll realize that he's not the reason why they're winning football games. The reason why they're winning football games is because their stellar defense.
Their defense has turned it up a notch.
If that defense was not there, this guy would be 0-6.
It's the same thing I said with Nick Foles, dude. Sometimes a team just plays better with an NHL team will play better with a certain goalie sometimes. Maybe it's that situation. The Ravens might just play better when Lamar Jackson is the quarterback.
I think it's one of those things. I actually don't disagree with you. It was like when Tebow was playing.
Yeah, that team was...
and with Denver, they might actually win a postseason game now that I come to think of it. But Tim Tebow was like doing all this, like he was doing the kneeling thing in the end zone and doing all this stuff right. And he was like, literally did nothing in terms of football.
Yeah,
but like everyone watched him and looked at him, and it was kind of awesome. But when he started,
the whole team was
started,
exactly.
The whole team was fired up. My thing with Lamar Jackson is that next year, now he's your mainstay, now he's your steady horse. Are you going to be as excited? You get new guys into the team.
I think Lamar Jackson will be a better quarterback though next year.
They will look. New guys in this locker room will look at Lamar Jackson and go, "Who's this kid?" Like. You know what I mean? Like, who's this upstart kid that they're starting? I honestly think it could turn into a similar situation.
Do you regret the Patriots not drafting him instead of...
Absolutely not.
Instead of Isaiah Cannon?
Absolutely not. I would rather have Isaiah Cannon
the guy who hasn't played a game yet this year.
Because, no, I don't want to sit here as a New England Patriots fan and watch New England Patriots games knowing that Lamar Jackson is the future of the franchise. All set. Like, come on.
I completely disagree with that take.
I can't
really have Isaiah Cannon, a guard who hasn't played a game yet this year, who's probably going to blow, who will probably be out of the NFL in 5 years than Lamar Jackson.
What if he is a fantastic offensive lineman?
I think the chances that are low. And even if he is a fantastic offensive lineman,
most successful
he's a guard.
Position is offensive.
The guard is like the least important offensive.
Please.
It is. It goes tackle, center, guard.
I just don't. As much as you like Lamar Jackson and think he's going to improve, there's not. It's like, to me, it's just his completion percentage is awful. He doesn't throw. He's thrown it over 200 yards once this season. It's like, yeah, he runs the ball all over the field, but we saw what happened to RG3. Like, I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. It's as simple as that. Now, to answer the question that we originally had, I think their defense is good enough to carry them to playoff games. I think that in the playoffs, most definitely. I think, unfortunately, the offense can only get you so far. And I think at some point they're going to run into, like, if they ran into the... Like, say what is the lineup here? Say they win against the Chiefs. Chargers. And because they're the 4 seed, and say Houston wins, right? Mm-hmm. The Ravens would go to play the Chiefs in the second round. The Chiefs are not going to let Baltimore win that game. And as soon as they run into a good offense, they might. Don't get me wrong, they might. But I just don't. I don't think that with the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is going to put up 21. Like, I don't even care who he plays. He's going to put up 21. Yeah, if he's putting up 21, can Lamar Jackson, that running style offense, keep up with it? And I just don't think it's true. I don't think that's the case. And if Baltimore slips up defensively just a little bit, they just aren't going to be able to keep up with the 35 or 42 point games.
Once you get
that high, I think it's just the over under for the Chiefs in that type of game and that type of scenario. If they don't choke, the Chiefs will get bulldozered. I even think against San Diego they'll probably get smashed.
So
you know what? I'll answer that question. I don't think Baltimore's going anywhere in the postseason.
I think they can honestly go to the Super Bowl.
If that happens, I'm not watching this.
I think they could go to the Super Bowl, but I have them losing in the first round.
Yeah, I'll say they lose in the first round. I think as hard as difficult as they do play, I think sometimes losing a game to a team, right, it allows you to prepare. Like, I've seen teams that the Patriots lose against, right, in the regular season, and you're like, oh, why did they lose that game? Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, honestly, you're like, why did they lose that game? Like that was a bad loss. But if they play in the Super Bowl, I mean, if they play in the playoffs, not the Super Bowl, if they play in the playoffs, the Patriots aren't going to let those same mistakes they made in the first game happen again.
Especially if it's in Gillette.
Especially if it's in Gillette. So to me, the Chargers, playing the Baltimore Ravens again in the first round of the playoffs, if Baltimore does...
In Baltimore, though?
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be a good game.
It would be.
I'd pick the Chargers.
I do want to note. I do want to know if Baltimore does lose this week and Pittsburgh wins. Pittsburgh makes the playoffs.
Is Baltimore out if that happens?
Baltimore is only so if they lose, if they lose and the Steelers win, they need the Colts to lose and the Titans,
which is impossible because the Colts play the Titans.
Yes. So
they're out if they lose.
Essentially, yeah.
And the Steelers win.
Yep. So that would be that's not an unlikely scenario, to be honest with you. I don't see the Colts losing this week, and if they do, man, I'll be very, very sad.
It's in Tennessee, right?
I think so.
So if the Titans win, they're in.
Yes.
The winner of that game is in the playoffs.
Yep. Okay. Basically. I love it.
I know.
Oh my God. If Andrew Luck, I'll be watching all of that game. So I don't think Baltimore has a chance in the postseason. No, I think if Lamar Jackson turns into what you're saying he's going to be next year, and this defense is the way it is, they could be Super Bowl contenders. They probably would win.
I don't know if Lamar Jackson is going to be anything good. I'm just saying you're already writing the guy off.
I am. I do not like.
He's played
Lamar
6
Jackson.
games in the NFL,
that.
and in 6 games he's been 5-1 and has been good.
I don't care about records.
He's been good.
I really don't care about records.
He's been good.
You can say he's been good, but the only thing he's done is run all over the field.
Who would you rather have, him or Josh Rosen right now?
Josh Rosen. Future? Yeah, Josh Rosen.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
One guy has 14 interceptions and 10 touchdowns. And has a 3-11 record, and you'd rather have him right now.
Yep.
Well, it's a confirmed Morgan hates Lamar Jackson.
It's true. Let's move on to the next point. With the Packers out of the playoffs, how much blame should be placed on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders?
Not a ton. I think after them, could you pull up their record?
Yes. I was just about to do that.
After the firing of Mike McCarthy.
Which week was that?
Frick. 13?
Don't remember. Was it week 13?
I think. I'm going to look it up. What week was Mike McCarthy?
What week was Mike McCarthy fired? I know we talked about this a few weeks back.
We did. But now we have a few weeks to
think about it and see what actually happened.
It was December 2nd, so week 13.
December 2nd.
So it was week 13.
Week 13.
So in the last 4 games, or last 3 games, they're what, 2-1?
Yep. They beat the Falcons 34-20. They lost to the Bears 24-17, and then they beat the Jets 44-38.
They almost beat the Bears in Chicago.
Yeah, there's no reason to keep the interim head coach around.
He's been decent, though.
He's been okay. I mean,
I'd give him an interview.
Obviously, you have to. He ran the team for 4 weeks, so they'll probably
friggin'
hold down
this
the
isn't
Lions
Aaron
and
Rodgers' fault.
them.
However, if they struggle next year, then you have to put blame on Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, their defense hasn't been great. Aaron Rodgers has been good, but not great.
Yeah.
But this past week, you saw what the team could have been.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers lit the Jets up.
I think here's the thing with me is that everyone's kind of like right now they're saying, oh, Rodgers blows. I actually think if you put more, like, find an offensive coordinator that Aaron Rodgers likes, sign him, and have Rodgers sit with this guy, create an offense that's brilliant. And Rodgers is really good at football, so he should be able to figure something out. But put together a really good offense, Rodgers and the offensive coordinator, and then hire a defensive-minded head coach. Because that defensive-minded head coach can put together a good defense for the Green Bay Packers, and all of a sudden they're Super Bowl contenders. You have Aaron Rodgers on your team, you're a Super Bowl contender. So I think this year, I honestly do think that it was Mike McCarthy probably bogging the team down a little bit. They relied on him a lot for a lot of different
Packers
stuff.
are going to be a very interesting team next year.
They're going to be very interesting next year, I agree. But we'll see. Like, I think a lot of people are writing off Aaron Rodgers like, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers, he blows. Oh my God, it's all his fault they're losing. No. Well, I mean, if you want to say that Rodgers gave up on McCarthy and that's why he was maybe not playing that hard, then yes, you can put the blame on Aaron Rodgers. But you can't say Aaron Rodgers' bad play, or not even play that bad. So, like, what are you even saying? But you can't say Aaron Rodgers was the reason why the Packers are losing. There's literally a laundry list of things before you get to the bottom of the barrel, which would probably be Rodgers and Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. So, I mean, the offense is not the problem in Green Bay.
It's not.
I think that they had some bad games this year, but I think it's just a lack of, I always say that a good defense only plays as well as the offense allows them to play. And what I mean by that is that if the offense blows, the defense can only do so much in a long amount. Like, if they have
So what you're saying is Lamar Jackson isn't that bad.
Probably, yeah. No. But I just think, like, you look at Denver's situation, right? Their offense is not good. It's not good.
It's not.
And I think Denver has such a good defense that they work their butts off trying to keep teams in games. And, they're every week they're having to hold a team to 10 points. And it's like Case Keenum's squeaking out 14. And it's like they have to do this every week. I think they get tired. They get defeated, and they're like, we can't do this every week.
Phillip Lindsay's their number one.
I think it might have been
on that team.
It might have been the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. It might have been like we talked about it earlier in the season, the hold my beer moments for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's probably sitting there.
How many times can you do that?
How many times do I have to do this? Like, you guys, like, I was up 21 at the half, and now it's tied. Like, why am I doing this? Right. You know what I mean? It's just one of those situations where Rodgers is just, I think Rodgers is not the reason why the Packers were losing. The Packers were losing because of bad coaching. The Packers were losing because of the defensive coordinator. The Packers were losing because their offensive line isn't as good as it should be. The Packers weren't losing because of Aaron Rodgers. Are you kidding me? You're going to say that the best quarterback in football coming into this year is the reason why the Packers were losing this year? No, I think it was only a matter of time before the Packers realized, oh, crap, we actually got to play defense. Like the NFL, you can't just show up and have a really good quarterback. You actually got to have some other elements to your team. So, like I said, offensive coordinator that works well with Aaron Rodgers, put them together, make a good offense there, hire a defensive-minded head coach, and roll with the punches. If they hire an offensive-minded head coach, Packers are going to be the same way next year, guaranteed.
All right, fair enough.
Let's move on to the Patriots Minute. Now, last week, we didn't even start a timer.
It was like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 10 minutes on the Patriots. We did talk
this week
about
we're actually going to do 1 minute.
We're actually going to do 1 minute this week. And if we go over, what the hell? You ready?
Yeah.
Is the stagnating Patriots offense because Tom Brady?
No.
I was really hoping for Tom Brady to decline.
I'm just going to say no here because I think it's mostly been because of McDaniels' system. However, if you want to say it's McDaniels is doing this because Tom Brady is old, I think you have a more valid point.
Yep.
But I wouldn't say it's because of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It's more because this is the game plan that McDaniels drew up.
I've kind of been feeling like, Tom Brady hasn't been playing bad. Somebody listed the interceptions for Tom Brady this year. and there was literally an excuse for every single interception, whether it was a dropped. I'm serious. Whether it was a dropped pass, like
that's how you know you're like.
Oh, they were digging. They really were. But when he listed them, it was like, I think he has 9 interceptions or something like that. 6 of them were because of drop passes. I think I agree with you. Josh McDaniels is probably the problem with the Patriots offense. And I do think, 3 seconds over, I do think that the New England Patriots should probably run the ball.
I agree.
A lot more.
Well, they have been.
Cordero Patterson on the end arounds is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You have Sony Michel.
They need to give it to Sony
smashing
more.
it up the middle.
I don't want to see Rex Burkhead get 5+
James
carries.
I don't want to see it anymore. Rex, they bought way too in on Rex Burkhead. You need a back.
I want to see Sony.
Up.
Yeah, I want to see Sony to get 15 to 20 carries.
Yeah,
and James White get around 10, or around like 5 to 10, but also gets involved in the passing game.
Yeah, we'll go over a little bit, but Tom Brady. The question of decline has been something that a lot of people have wanted to answer, but there hasn't been any real like, okay, we definitely have Tom Brady in decline. Like there's been no game that kind of makes me think that way. Mm-hmm. I think he's got like when we were watching Peyton Manning in decline, right?
Yeah, every game
his arm was just not there. You could tell
he would throw a ball 20 yards.
Yep.
And when it left his hand, it was moving like a duck in the air.
It's true.
It was flapping its wings, trying to fly away.
Yep. And
it did not look good at all.
I think Tom Brady's got the same zip on the ball. He has,
for the most part,
generally speaking, the same accuracy. This year he's around 65%, which is good for a quarterback. He's still throwing 4,000 yards. I think the only difference is the touchdown interception ratio is a little off. Tom Brady doesn't normally throw over like 6 interceptions a year.
Yeah.
This year he has 11.
Which is remarkable.
Which is remarkable, but he has 11. But I thought it was interesting. Like I said, some guy tweeted out, they said if you want to, mock Tom Brady, he probably realistically has only thrown 3 real, like, oh my God, why did you throw that football interceptions this year? Everything else has been because a ball bouncing off Gronk's head or bouncing off the receiver's hands or all that stuff. And I know we had receiver problems in the beginning of the year, throughout the entire year. Yeah. So they said that there was a wacky play where somebody caught the ball, turned around. It really should have been counted as a fumble, but it was an interception because the guy ripped it out of his hands and the defender ripped it out of his hands.
Oh, the Gronk play.
Yeah, so it's a lot of wacky plays, and it led to Tom Brady's 11 interceptions. Now, everyone's going to look back on this season and go, oh my God, Tom threw a lot of interceptions. Well, not
this
really.
Is way more than a minute, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I said we were going over anyway. But 25 touchdowns is not what you normally get from Tom Brady.
It's not,
you usually get like 35 to maybe 40.
Around 35, yeah.
Around 35 is usually pretty good, but 25 touchdowns is just that's a little low. So I think it's showing a little bit of shift in the offense. I think the Patriots have run the football a lot more, and maybe they do this to preserve Brady a little bit because you've seen his attempts go down. Usually this offense is like 80-20. It's like Brady throws it all the time. They have 60 plays a game. They do, no huddle 50% of the game. Like that's usually what it looks like. This year they've been running the football a lot. Maybe they're preserving Tom Brady knowing about the postseason and they're saying, maybe we need to slow this down a little bit. Get this guy to the plate, get this guy to the postseason, and then he can tear it up. Because Tom Brady still has the ability to throw that 500-yard, 4-touchdown game. Like, he still can do it, like he did in the Super Bowl last year. I think that we just haven't seen it this year, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, we'll see what happens. But I think that Tom Brady is not in decline yet. We'll see what happens. Next year could be a determining factor in that one. Let's move on to Lemons. Buy or sell. Number 1, the Eagles will make the playoffs. Buy or sell.
I'm going to sell that. I got the Vikings in the playoffs, bro.
Why?
Because I think they're the better team.
You're not going to jump on the Foles train?
Okay, you know what? You're right. Never mind. I'm completely wrong here.
Let's go.
Fly, Eagles, fly. So you can trade Carson Wentz.
Victory. Yeah, see, they make the playoffs. All in.
Yeah.
I don't love the Eagles. I actually don't like, I don't like Nick Foles, but I think it's funny that I think in Doug Peterson's system, Nick Foles might actually be decent.
That's what I mean.
He won again. I just can't believe it. I watched the game on Sunday.
He might just fit the system better than Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz is so above and beyond a better quarterback than Nick Foles is. It's not even funny.
I think he is a better
he's a way better quarterback.
Actually, it's the Bears at the Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Vikings could win that, but the Bears could toast the Vikings.
So who do the Eagles play this week?
Redskins.
They play. And now, if both teams lose, the Vikings are in, right?
Who's both teams?
If the Vikings and Eagles both lose this week, the Vikings would make the playoffs, correct?
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because they have the tie.
Okay, yeah, so...
I'm going to say the Eagles win against the Redskins and the Vikings lose against the Bears.
I could definitely see that.
That's why I'm taking the Eagles to
You know
make the
what?
playoffs.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
There we go. I was doing the Chiefs salute on that.
Dude,
Fly,
I
Eagles,
honestly
fly.
really hope the Eagles make the playoffs and trade Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Oh
Although it would stink if he goes to like the Dolphins or something and we're toast.
Oh, that would blow. That would. Well, I mean, why would they trade him? Oh, you know, you're right. Oh, that was another piece of news I heard before the show that I didn't add in. Ryan Tannehill is not expected to return to the Miami Dolphins next
Really?
year. Yes, Ryan Tannehill.
So Joe Flacco and Ryan Tannehill are two quarterbacks in
Yes.
the market. Interesting.
I was looking at all the quarterbacks in the league. The only team that really, really needs a quarterback right now is Washington and Denver.
Yeah.
Because there's like 4 teams that needed a quarterback last year, and they drafted it, and they got to stick with the guy for another year and see what happens.
Patriots will be on that list soon.
Yeah, Patriots will. Oh, it's disgusting.
Also, you
Why
can
would
add
say
Teddy
that?
Bridgewater too.
I'm going to buy the Eagles making the playoffs. Number 2, the Chargers will clinch home field advantage.
Sell. I'm riding the Chiefs wave hard.
We know. You've been riding it since week 1.
Since preseason, bro.
I hail it. The 2 teams we talk about on this freaking podcast. They both have
I like
chance.
the Chargers, though. Honestly, you know, it'd be a hot take that I kind of want to say.
What?
Whoever loses that division as a wild card team
Yeah.
will go to the Super Bowl.
Interesting. That's an interesting take. I'm going to sell.
Oh, okay.
I hope the Chargers win next week and Oakland poops all over the Chiefs, and the Chiefs just choke hardcore in that game. It's unlikely. That's like hoping pigs to fly, especially because the Raiders are in KC. So our only hope as New England Patriots fans is if the Chiefs lose in the second round.
Yeah, because if we have to go to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game after they've proven they didn't choke because they would have to have won the divisional game, you're not winning.
Here's the thing. So you expect the Chiefs to win this week. Would you want the Chargers, as a Patriots fan, would you want the Chargers to lose this week so that they go 11-5 and then Houston wins and goes 11-5, right? And then you have Houston would have to go to New England, and then the Chargers would have to go to the Chiefs in the second round. I'd much rather have that so that you have to face Houston.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a catch-22. You hope if the Chiefs lose to the Raiders.
But if we win this week, it won't matter. We'll
Yeah.
get the 2 seed. So
Oh yeah, big time. We're getting the bye week, but
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. But I'm gonna sell the Chargers, clinch home field. They had their chance. They literally had their chance sitting right in front of them. They couldn't beat Baltimore. Idiots.
Lamar Jackson too good.
Los Angeles, you make me so sad. And the last, Lemons buy or sell. The Saints are a lock to make the Super Bowl. Buy or sell.
So
Whoa.
a lock to make the Super Bowl. A lock to make the Super Bowl.
Vikings,
no team in
Bears,
this league.
Seahawks, Cowboys,
Oh my.
Rams.
Dude, no team in this league is a lock though.
The Rams offense blows. The Vikings
let's not
suck.
go
The
there.
Eagles don't have their starting quarterback. The Bears only have a defense, and Rex
I would
Grossman
say-
has Mitch Trubisky as their quarterback. The Seattle Seahawks are 9-6, and the Cowboys somehow made the postseason. I would take the New Orleans Saints any day to go to the Super Bowl.
I have them going
I'm
to the Super
buying
Bowl,
it.
but I wouldn't say a lock. You know why?
They're a
because
lock.
that Rams team is wicked good, and you are underestimating them.
Old man Jared Goff, Grandpa Jared Goff.
I guess we'll
over
see in the
here.
playoffs, huh?
Yeah, New Orleans is going to the Super Bowl.
And you're
I'm
sleeping
sorry.
on the Bears too.
I hate the Chicago Bears.
I love the Bears.
I like Mitch Trubisky. I just don't like the rest of them.
See, I'm not a complete opposite. Well, I like Trubisky. I'm rooting for Trubisky, but I think he kind of blows.
You know, I call him Rex Grossman because this Bears team reminds me of the team that went to the Super Bowl and faced the Colts and got toasted
completely toasted.
completely toasted because Rex Grossman blew in that game. I think Mitch Trubisky is the same type of player. He's like, wow, this guy's good. And then the next game, he throws like 5 picks.
Wow, this guy blows.
Yeah, wow, this guy blows. So it's like, he reminds me of, I like him, but he reminds me of Rex Grossman a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if, they make it to the Super Bowl and then get toasted by whoever else is on the other side. I don't think that'll happen. I really do believe, and we'll talk about this next week on our prediction show for the first round and the whole playoffs. But I really do think the Eagles are going to make it over the Vikings, and I think the Eagles have a real shot at beating the Bears in the first round. And if they don't, the Bears aren't making it anywhere past the Saints or the Rams. Like, it's not even in the same realm. But to me, I don't know. The Rams are they're not playing well lately.
That kind of makes me think they'll do good
Better in the
playoffs.
postseason, maybe. But they haven't even shown in the past. Like, last year they had a bye week.
That again, though, that's like that either means they're gonna choke or they're gonna learn from their mistakes.
It's true. We'll see. Here's the thing: 1 time is an accident, 2 times is a trend. So if the Rams lose in the playoffs in the first round again, it's a trend. Now you're starting to look at it and go, can Sean McVay win a playoff game? Can Jared Garf win a playoff game? Jared Barf. Can Todd Gurley win a playoff game? Can this defense win a playoff game? Like, they're going to be like...
Yeah, but you don't think the Rams play the Cowboys in the second round, and obviously they toast the Cowboys? You don't think that gives them confidence?
It does, but New Orleans is so good, dude.
I agree. New Orleans is really good, but
okay, New Orleans.
I think the Rams are really good too.
The Rams have to go to New Orleans if they and you think the Rams have a shot against New Orleans in?
They have a shot, 100%.
No,
100%.
I'm sorry. Lock to win the Super Bowl. I mean, lock to make the Super Bowl. Sorry.
Whoa.
Got a little ahead of myself.
The train
let's move to Pick'em.
Saints hard.
Week 17 Pick'em. This is it. Next week I need a count.
Yeah.
I need to know who won.
We
got to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
And counting all of our records.
You want to help me?
Our last Pick'em of the year, and then next week we'll do playoff predictions, and we'll probably do a Pick'em for the postseason. But let's move to Pick'em. Cue the music. Dolphins at Bills.
This is the game of the century right here.
Dude.
I'm taking the Bills.
I can't believe it's week 17. I'll take the Bills. Oh my god.
Ride the
Dolphins.
Bills,
Dolphins.
Mafia.
What did they win last week?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Detroit at Green Bay.
I'm going to go with Green Bay here.
Fly the Packers. Jets, Patriots.
I really want to pick the Jets and Sam
Patriots.
Darnold, but they're going to get killed. Patriots.
They're going to get their pants ripped off. Panthers at Saints.
Saints.
Jaguars at Texans. God, I'm hoping it's the Jags.
Texans.
But it's going to be the Texans. Take the Texans. Cowboys at Giants.
Let's go, Giants.
Let's go, Cowgirls. Taking the Cowboys.
Of course. What
Falcons
else
at Bucks.
I'm going to go Falcons here.
I'll take the Falcons too. Raiders at Chiefs.
Dude, Raiders Chiefs.
Cardinals at Seahawks.
Seahawks.
49ers at Rams.
Rams.
Chargers at Broncos.
I'm actually going to go... Chargers.
Bears at Vikings.
Oh, my. I'm going to go...
I'm going to roll with the Berries.
I said the Eagles, so I guess I have to go Bears.
Browns at Ravens.
I'm going with the Browns, bro.
Brownies, baby.
You actually going with the Browns?
I'll go with the Brownies.
Okay.
Eagles at Redskins.
I'm going to go with the Eagles here. Fly, Eagles, fly, bro.
I'll take the Eagles. Bengals at Steelers.
I'm actually going to go with Steelers still.
I'll take the Steelers as well. Colts at Titans. Sunday Night Football,
This
the
is
last game of Week 17.
Winner gets in.
Winner take all.
It's like a wild card game in baseball.
Indianapolis
It's actually going to be a
Colts.
good game.
Andrew Luck will throw 5
I really
touchdowns.
want to say Titans right now because they're
I
kind
know
of
you
low
do.
key
That
my
would be
team.
Stupid.
They're a little low.
They made.
But you know what's going to happen?
Do you know that would mean Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, and Bill? I was going to say Bill O'Reilly. That's not
Bill
right at all.
O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. Those 3 guys from Belichick's system are going to be in the postseason.
I think the Titans are going to pound the ball, and Marcus Mariota is going to get one of his 600 finger injuries or something, take him out of the game. They're going to put Blaine Gabbert in, and he's going to puke all over himself. So I'm going with the Colts.
I'll go with the Colts, too. Oh, boy. So I just wanted to take a second to close out the show. No more fantasy. If you had fantasy this week, it is over for you. And I'm sorry to every single person out there who does Week 17 championships because they are a waste of valuable energy. So we will be talking about the NFL playoff picture. Teams that have clinched a playoff spot so far are the Chiefs, Patriots, Texans, Chargers, Saints, Rams, Bears, Seahawks, and Cowboys. The teams that are in the hunt still are the Colts, Vikings, Titans, Steelers, Eagles. Right now, the Vikings and the Eagles are in the NFC are fighting for that last wild card spot. All divisions, with the exception of the Seahawks division, have been clinched, I believe.
The NFC West.
NFC West.
And the NFC South, right? Obviously, the Saints.
Yeah, but who's trying to steal the spot for the Seahawks?
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm sorry, never mind.
You confused me hard there.
Yeah, I confused myself.
And the audience.
Confusing myself. Forgive me. So right now it's between the Eagles and the Vikings for that one wild card spot in the NFC.
I picked the Eagles just for the giggles of it, but I think the Vikings are a better football team.
I think as much as the Vikings are a better football team, I think they're running into the Bears. This is one of those wacky games where if the Vikings basically the next 2 weeks of the season, if they win, would have to face the Bears. So if they beat the Bears at home this week, they would have to face the Bears on the road next week because of the playoff seeding and such. But if the Vikings lose, which is very reasonable against the Bears, then and the Eagles win, they can slide themselves right into that 6th seed. I do have the Eagles pulling that off because they're facing the terrible, terrible, terrible Washington Redskins. And Minnesota is facing the Bears. I think the Bears are going to your division rival.
The Bears have already won the division, though, so maybe they...
Yeah, but they're division rivals, and you can play spoiler. Like, they'll come out and play in that game. Like, do they...
But are they going to play as hard as the Vikings?
Here's the thing. Like I just said, the Vikings go out in... If they win this game, then very next game, they have to face the Bears.
Oh, true, yeah.
Do the Bears really want to give the Vikings any kind of no? So they'll come out guns ablaze. If the Vikings win, they deserve that spot. But I think the Eagles will sneak in, believe it or not. Now, if the Eagles lose, they're done. Like, it's over.
Oh yeah,
they gotta win. But I don't think the Redskins are shocking anyone. The real question: a lot of people say the NFC. To me, it's a lock. We'll talk about that next week, but. To me, there's a lot of teams, and it's kind of...
You don't think there's a chance another team gets...
Yes, but I think the NFC right now is very predictable. It's a very predictable area. Okay. The AFC is kind of just a mishmash of many teams that... Chargers always choke. The Chiefs always choke. The Patriots have been the epitome of success in the AFC. And then you got 3 teams that really haven't had much experience as far as their team is concerned, very young. A lot of the teams in this AFC picture are very young, with the exception of the Chargers, who have had a little bit of playoff experience.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
But even, the Chargers team is pretty... Like, Philip Rivers is pretty old, but their team overall is relatively young.
Yeah. So right now you have the Colts, Ravens, Titans, and Steelers all fighting for a playoff spot. Right now the Steelers and the Ravens can win their division or the wild card. So one of those two things can happen.
If the Steelers get in, watch out.
The Titans' only shot is the 6th seed. So, and right now, the Titans have the tiebreak over the Steelers. So if the Titans win their game, the Steelers are eliminated.
If the Colts win, though, too, they're eliminated.
Yes.
So they need Baltimore to lose, essentially, or they're out.
Yep. So the Steelers are done unless Baltimore loses. Now Baltimore is playing,
and Baltimore's playing Cleveland.
So if they do lose to the Brownies, the Steelers can win the division, which is wacky.
I don't think they're gonna.
That's a strange scenario.
That would be.
They're the 8th seed, and then they slide right into the playoffs as the 4 seed. So I don't think this actually. I just don't think the Steelers, considering the Ravens are playing the Cleveland Browns, I don't think the Steelers have a shot of making the playoffs, especially if the Colts win. Because, like you said, because the Titans have that tiebreak over the Steelers, if the Titans win,
either way.
If the Titans win or the Colts win, it doesn't really matter
because they're playing against each other.
So the Steelers have to win the division.
So one of those teams are going to win.
So they have to win the division. Yeah. So the Steelers are out if the Ravens win. The Titans are out if the Colts win, vice versa. So I honestly think Baltimore will make it, and I think the Colts will make it. I don't think there's going to be any wacky shifts outside of that Vikings-Eagles scenario. So I think what we have right now, I think the only change we're really going to get is that Eagles game. If there's any team that's not in the playoffs right now, which are the Titans, Steelers, and Eagles, which one would you want in?
Of the what is it? The Titans?
Titans, Steelers, and Eagles. Which one do you want in?
I think for entertainment purposes, I'd love to see the Steelers.
Yeah, for me too. I probably want to see the Pittsburgh Steelers. That Steelers, if they make it, they would play the Chargers in the first round.
That would
be a great game.
First round.
But unfortunately, in this current scenario, if Houston does win in the first round, the Patriots would have to play Houston if the Steelers beat the Chargers. If the Colts win, then they would go and play the Chiefs, so the Patriots would have to face the Steelers. I kind of want to see the Steelers again. That would be a fun game. Patriots always beat the Steelers, and they're going into New England, and Tom Brady would probably put up like 5 touchdowns. He'd probably be like, frick you.
True.
So that would be a fun game to see. I do think it's going to be Baltimore. So next week we'll go over our predictions. Do you have any final thoughts to give our...
I just want to say that I am the Fantasy League champion. And it feels good. It feels good. And feel really good to brag about in a future fantasy football podcast.
It's true. See you later, Rick.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Rick and Morgan podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and check us out online at lemonsportsnetwork.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at Rick Morgan Pod. See ya.